I can't believe they did it again, Keith.
Yeah.
Maybe I should start believing it.
Ugh.
You got to be kidding.
You got to be kidding me.
I'm with you. And boy, oh boy, did Baez know that thing was gone.
Yo, yeah.
Baez
got a hold of it.
Celebrating in the batter's box. The second that left, one of 2 3-run homers to put the Tigers in front. This is the walk-off for Baez last night. Red Sox led twice in extra innings, including by 2 runs in the 11th after a Christian Campbell 2-run homer to put them up 9-7. They lose 10-9. They've dropped the first 2 games against the American League's best team, the Detroit Tigers, one of the best teams in baseball. And they are now back to 500.
Oh, they love it there.
22-22. The hamster wheel keeps turning, and they keep winding up at that 500 spot. And something feels very wrong with the team, whether that's Devers, whether it's something simmering under the surface like that, or the problems run much deeper, we can debate. But there is something off with this 500 Red Sox team that we expected way more out of.
Well, and that's just it. They can't get away from it. I mean, they were 1-1 to start the year, and that just seems to be pretty apropos. And they at best get 2, 3, 4 games above 500, and then they sink right back down to it. You know, they were not too long ago 18-18, and they were in the middle of a little bit of a funk, and we thought they dug themselves out of it. Right? They won 4 out of 5. You had Devers couldn't get out. Last night cooled off, but like for a while couldn't get out. AL Player of the Week,
and you win series against the Rangers and the Royals. It's like, okay, those are good teams. Red Sox are turning it around.
Even around the latest Devers drama, they were still winning games.
Yep.
And you're like, I'm sure the teammates are looking at him sideways, but he's still hitting the ball. You got good pitching performances out of Giolito and Garrett Crochet, and you're like, all right, the American League is down. They'll dig themselves out of this a little bit, and then back. I know Detroit's good. In fact, I saw something the other day. They re-released all like the win totals, like the updated win totals across Major League Baseball.
What is it?
I don't know what the number is, but the Tigers jumped the most.
Oh, okay.
The Tigers number improved by 9 from where it started the year. The Rockies, they took 17 off of it, I think. It was like the biggest drop-off from where they were at the beginning of the year.
What? They lose a game 21-0? They fired their manager?
They like just barely missed out the worst start through 30 games or whatever in baseball history. Like they're atrocious.
Yeah, so they said Bud Black's not going to get fired. They lost the game 21-0. They fired Bud Black.
Yeah, see you later,
24 hours.
Yeah, all right. The Tigers are good, but I mean you lose 14-2, and then you lose this game where you have the lead in extra innings is pretty demoralizing. So I don't really know if there's one thing wrong with the Red Sox. I think, we've talked about Cora, and is he trying to win all these games? Is he really trying to win all these games, or is it too much of let's do something here that'll help us 3 months from now? Whether it's a batter getting another at bat against a certain relief pitcher, or if it's a starter staying in a little bit longer, or not walking Vlad Guerrero, or whatever. I think Cora's on the list. The last 2 nights, I mean, it was pitching. I mean, that was pretty clear. They didn't have it.
Houck, you can't do anything about it.
Houck's been a mess.
Bayo wasn't great last night.
No, he wasn't.
But I don't know. Do you have to stick with Greg Weissert for a second inning? You don't have to. Cora was asked about it after the game. The only guy left in the bullpen after Weissert, unless you want to go to a starter, was Hendricks.
Yeah.
And he said he was staying away from him. But, like, what are you doing? You don't have to worry about going to anybody else when you're up 2. Just close the game out. You don't have to go back to Greg Weissert. You're up 2 runs. Close the game out. Don't worry about the 12th inning. Worry about ending the game. So I'm with you. Cora's on the list. The Devers thing is front and center, and I just think it's representative of something's off and has been off with this team all along, and that's simmering beneath the surface. And I don't know, maybe some of it too. Jeff Passan had a big, long takeout today on Alex Bregman. I don't know if you read any of it. I wouldn't say there's a lot in there, but it's like Bregman's their new Pedroia, and, he's changing the culture in the clubhouse. And I was reading the story. I'm like, wait, he hasn't changed anything. What do you mean he's changing things in there?
They're the same as they were
They're
last year.
exactly the same as they've been. Bregman's a really good player.
Except now they're not living up to expectations.
Right. They're
last
underachieving.
Year they had no expectations.
Thank you. That's a great way to put it. Last year they overachieved. Now they're underachieving. So, don't tell me Bregman's changing the culture. That doesn't add up exactly.
You can say he's having a great season.
It might not be,
he's been really good.
It might not be his fault, but if we're giving him credit for the culture, then we got to give him some blame because something in there is off. And I think, if you're asking me, it's Devers with Cora right behind him. I do not give Cora a free pass on this. I think Cora's been embarrassing on this. By the way, is he on today?
Alex Cora should be Wednesday.
He should be, right?
Yeah.
Alex Cora Wednesday. Sometimes on the road. I know that shakes things up.
I think so.
But I'd have him front and center.
Yeah.
Why is your owner flying to Kansas City to meet with a player? Why is the GM coming downstairs to talk to a player? That's your job. So Devers to me is just, again, a horrible, horrible teammate. I haven't traded him like you have, Keith, but
he gone.
He should get his ass to first base. I think that, and I think that's a big problem, and I think teammates have a problem with it. But Cora's right there behind him, and the decision last night to go back to Weissert for a second inning was stupid.
Yeah, that was. So I think some of the decisions by Cora I have on the list. I think Tristan Casas, just twofold. One, horrible start to the season. So your cleanup hitter was really bad, and then you didn't have a backup. So then when he gets hurt, it's another drama with Devers. But in the meantime, it's Roman Gonzalez, Abraham Toro, Nick Sogard. I know he had a couple of knocks last night, but it's like,
well, Sogard had a misplay at first last night too. He did hit well, but he had a misplay at first, which
but
there's
that's
a long
Red
line of
Sox
those.
thing, right?
Yep.
Like you have zero backup for Casas. So just really first base, Cora, first base, Tanner Houck are some of the reasons why you're here, right? Like you're still in it. Like you're not buried, but we expected a lot better. If this team was going to win 90 games, they weren't going to be 500 through 44 games.
Tell me this: Red Sox are 4-11 in one-run games. Is that just unlucky, or does that tell a story?
I think it does tell a little bit of a story because I think that's a spot where maybe you give credit to a manager, and then you also kind of look at the manager. Sort of separately, like with Missoula. Like if your team has all these massive leads, and then your team loses all these leads, I start to look at, all right, what are you doing about it? And that's one thing. Like some of the years the Red Sox have been good, they would have crazy numbers in close games. Now, part of that too is maybe you have a better bullpen than others. I don't think their bullpen is bad. Like I think they had a stretch where they were bad, but early in the year they were like one of the strengths of the team.
Yeah, I'm starting to question how good Whitlock is.
Fair.
And
fair. And like Slayton fell apart.
Slayton was fine last night, but Slayton was really good last night.
But he had that stretch where he literally lost 3 games for him.
So
in like a week.
I'm with you. I think 4-11 in one-run games. That number can be a little fluky, but that's
there's
a Cora stat.
Yeah, there's some luck involved there, but wouldn't you want to see that a little bit at least close? That's closer to 500, and then you win the other ones.
Yeah, if it's a fluky number, then by definition, I'm sure the analysts and the front office people are looking at it and going, well, every team should be 500 in that spot, right?
Yeah.
And anything else is just kind of noise within the statistics. Well, the manager's holding you back, I think, in that spot. Last night is an example. So you can jump in on it, 617-779-7937. We'll get to some Would You Rathers coming up at 11:30 on a Would You Rather Wednesday, Pure Hoops with Terp at high noon. How do they fix it, Keith?
I mean, I would like to see, there's a lot of pressure on them, but I would like to see Anthony and Meyer with the big club, please.
It's so obvious.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious why they're not up. We have one guy who consistently texts us every day.
He's like, wow, we're drinking the Kool-Aid guy?
We're the drinking the Kool-Aid guy. Yeah. We suck up to management. I think we've consistently said ownership is manipulating service time. Management is manipulating service time on these guys. They're keeping them down artificially in the minor leagues. They called up Campbell game 1 because Campbell played ball on a contract. They're not playing ball with Anthony and Meyer, and they're keeping them in AAA in Worcester because they didn't work with the team on a contract. So I think we've consistently criticized ownership for that. I don't think this year I have the same gripe with John Henry that I've had in the past. John Henry flew to Kansas City. I actually applaud him for that. Mm-hmm. He spent money on Bregman. They traded for Crochet and extended him. Like I think there's less criticism for Henry this year personally from me, but that's one that I put on ownership and management. Why aren't these guys here?
Yeah, they should be.
They're manipulating service time, and if you start to see it, Nick pointed this out the other day, Jordan Lawler is now up with the Arizona Diamondbacks. That's a top prospect. The Cubs just called up Ballesteros. That's a top prospect.
The time is now.
We're all around it. The Red Sox aren't the only team doing it, but a lot of teams are starting to do it. This is the time where you see those kids called up. How do you fix it? You get the talented guys who you're wasting in AAA up here to spark the team and actually improve the talent level. That's how you do it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that both those guys should be up, and whether they're playing first, DH, outfield, second base, figure that out.
Right.
Like that's your issue. Figure that out.
I don't want Meyer at first. I think that's a waste. But if it gets him up here, put him at first.
Yeah, right.
If Devers won't do it,
he would do it.
If Devers won't do it, get him up here and put him at first. It's annoying at this point.
Because this team last year was what they finished. Were they 500? A couple games over 500.
They were 81 and 81.
They were dead at 500. Mm-hmm. So you would think, and considering that there are 3 big signings this offseason. Well, I guess one was a trade, but the 3 big acquisitions. Garrett Crochet has been great. Right? Couple starts where you're like, oh, what was that? But like overall, great. Alex Bregman, great. Aroldis Chapman much to our surprise. Great.
Yeah, that one surprises me.
So
but
you
it's been
add
great,
those
yeah.
three guys, you would think, all right, that takes a 500 team, and that's an easy boost up, right? You have a right-handed bat who hits third, an ace, and a closer. Like, that's a pretty good offseason. But the problem is some of these other guys, right? Costas was kind of a swing guy, swung the other way, was terrible. Jarren Duran and Tanner Houck were both all-stars last year.
Duran's been bad.
Carried the team to where they were. I mean, Houck was a Cy Young candidate at the break, and Jarren Duran was an MVP candidate for the whole year. And neither one of those guys are going to be all-stars. Houck's going to get sent down, it feels like. And Duran's been just south of fine, right? Like, he needs to be better.
Yeah, you're right. Bad is too strong.
No, he's not bad.
But he's underachieved, and
no,
when
he was up there with like Soto, Judge, Ohtani for like WAR last year. Now it's like he's got one of the worst WAR. If you like WAR, one of the worst on the team.
Well, if you're talking up Jarren Duran, you have to be a fan of the WAR statistic. He's
last
by that metric
of their regular guys.
Yeah, he's below David Hamilton. He's below
David Hamilton was swinging it last night.
Christian Campbell, Romy Gonzalez, Rob Refsnyder, Trevor Story,
Nicholas John Sogard.
He is
not great, Bob.
On the ESPN stat thing.
No, he's above. I see he's above Sogard.
I see them both at 0.
Oh, I see Sogard at minus 0.1.
Okay, maybe the
But
ESPN hasn't updated.
Duran
you know what?
Duran is 0.0.
Isn't there different wars? I
Yes.
think different sites have
Yes,
different
there's F4 and B War.
I'm on
But if you
ESPN.
told me
Whatever
the difference, I couldn't.
Whatever
Yeah.
war ESPN uses, that's the one.
I also don't know why Nick Sogard on ESPN is Nicholas John Sogard. He's the only one that sounds like a serial killer.
But anyway, yeah, no. Duran is on. We should add Duran to the list because
Duran's a big problem with this team right now.
I don't want to give him a free pass. He's a guy who set the tone, and I think was one of the most exciting players to watch in baseball. And it was refreshing to have a guy like that on the Red Sox. Hasn't been that this year.